Maga is not only justifying Trump being in the Epstein files, but they're now justifying Epstein, saying that 15 years old isn't that bad. They even go live on air and say this, saying that Jeffrey Epstein isn't a PDF, he just likes barely legal. That is word for word and bar for bar, saying at least they weren't 8 years old, there would be a huge difference there. These people have lost their minds. Let's take a look at this video.
As for Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything. Not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into like 8-year-olds. But he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby. And that is what I believed, and that was what I reliably was told for many years. And it wasn't until we heard from Pam Bondi that they had tens of thousands of videos of alleged, forgive me, they used to call it, now they call it child abuse material, on his computer, that for the first time I thought, oh no, he was an actual pedophile. I mean, only a pedophile gets off on young children videos. She's never clarified it. I don't know whether it's true. I have to be honest. I don't really trust Pam Bondi's word on the Epstein matters anymore. Yeah, so I don't know what's true about him, but we have yet to see anybody come forward and say, I was I was under 10. I was under 14 when I first came within his purview. Look, you can say that's a distinction without a difference.
No, it's not.
I think there is a difference. Yeah. There's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. Yeah.
There's no way they are moving the goalposts and humanizing Jeffrey Epstein. These people are defending a PDF and moving the goalposts just to protect their Lord and Savior Donald Trump. Jeffrey Epstein was running a trafficking ring, and she just sat here and said there's a possibility he wasn't really a PDF when he was already charged in 2008 for being a PDF, for abusing minors. And if you think it stops there, it doesn't. Because rather than admitting they were conned and supported a horrible person, they would rather justify and protect their own ego at the expense of underage victims. Detestable doesn't even begin to describe this behavior. We didn't think they would try to move the goalposts with Epstein, yet here they are doing it. But we understand it now. The same people defending this are the same type of people we would find in the Epstein files. They are the same people that would be complicit, because when you justify that behavior rather than condemning it, you're showing us who you are. And you should take a hard look in the mirror and fix yourself. They went from release the Epstein files and lock everybody up in it. Oh, Donald Trump is in it? But they were like 15. She doesn't even have access to this information, by the way. But they're already trying to normalize this behavior. Good luck with that. And not only are they normalizing it, but they're also trying to forget about it as a whole and create another distraction. Talking about Obama from 2016 rigging elections. Unfortunately for them, it doesn't work. Trump is in the Epstein files. We're coming. See you next week. Let's take a look at what she had to say about this.
Another matter, over the past few days, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has unveiled shocking new evidence that former President Barack Obama and top aides in the Obama administration conspired to subvert President Trump's 2016 election victory and undermine the democratic will of the American people. While publicly pretending to engage in a peaceful transfer of power, in private, former President Obama went to great and nefarious lengths to try to sow discord among the public and sabotage his successor, President Trump. The new evidence released by the Director of National Intelligence, who is here with me today, confirms that the Obama administration manufactured politicized intelligence, which was later used as the justification for baseless smears against President Trump in an effort to try to delegitimize his victory before he even took the oath of office. The truth is that President Trump never had anything to do with Russia, and the Russia collusion hoax was a massive fraud perpetuated on the American people from the very beginning. And the worst part of this is Obama knew that truth, and so did all of the other corrupt officials involved in this scam, including former CIA Director John Brennan, former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, former FBI Director James Comey, former Deputy...
It's not even enough to get us outraged. We don't buy it. Release the Epstein files. Because unfortunately for them, if this is all they have, Trump is getting impeached and justice will be served. In a normal human society, when you learn that a political official in office has been messing with kids, normally that's where the entire country comes together and prosecutes that person. Because regardless of who you align yourself with, the level of depravity it takes to do something like that is not the kind of person that should be walking around society freely. That is a dangerous person and something is grotesquely wrong with them. And like attracts like, so if you defend somebody like that, then that is who you are as well. When you give 1,000% of your energy trying to distract people away from a serious problem, then maybe it's time for you to resign and go away for a while as well. And do you know what narcissists are very good at? It's playing to your desires and emotions. It's faking empathy where it really counts, but they can only fake it so long until the real them comes out. Because even through Trump's letters to Epstein's, the emails about Trump being with victims for hours, how little girls were scared of Trump, they themselves saying it in interviews, and Trump doing his best to avoid reporters for the past 2 days to avoid having to answer questions about the Epstein files. Trump takes stage and starts talking about vulnerable children and the Bible. Let's take a look at this video.
Thank you. The Bible tells us that one of the measures of any society is how it cares for vulnerable children and orphans. So important, and it's so big in the Bible. So as we make America great again, we are going to protect American children in foster care.
Mind you, this is also coming from the guy that starved them for an entire month by shutting down the government. And when he was ordered to pay 3 times by federal judges, he had it blocked and only partially paid them afterwards and tried to demand states to take back their payments they issued. The same person that believes in no free lunches for kids, and the same person that is in the Epstein files. This is the person talking about Bibles and vulnerable children. And for the Maga with the crosses in their bio, Jesus is king, and a quote defending this, you can cut the act. Stop impersonating rules to a religion you do not live under or follow. It will not save you. It will not protect you. You are dangerous. Because the worst type of person is someone who does horrible things, says horrible things, defends horrible things, and then tries to convince themselves and other people that what they're doing is righteous and it's the right thing to do. Because if you knew what you were doing was right, you wouldn't have to hide so much who you really are. And that is the difference between fake MAGA Christians and real Christians. This was the letter Trump put out to states after the government opened back up, by the way, telling them to undo their SNAP payments. States must immediately undo any steps taken to issue full SNAP benefits for November 2025. Bear in mind that 65% of SNAP recipients have children. And it doesn't end there with Trump's lack of accountability. The person that loves to be the star of the show, the highlight of every moment, is now walking past cameramen and interviewers, ignoring all of their questions. For the second time, he has not allowed anybody to ask any questions since these emails have gotten released. Let's take a look at this clip. Talk about guilty. Because here is a more clear video of people publicly asking Trump about the Epstein files and him not answering or pretending like he doesn't hear them. Let's take a look at that.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Mr. President, are you prepared to negotiate with Democrats now?
Mr. President, on Jeffrey Epstein.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for knowing.
Mr. President, can you respond to these Epstein emails that were released today?
Well done, Mr. President. Great job.
This is the face of a man that knows it's all coming to an end. And if you ask me, the reason he won't look at any cameras and answer any questions is because he's fighting back tears. And those are tears of defeat. Trump has been defeated, and next week he will be revealed. And his own bribe of reopening the government shutdown turned on him more than anything else could have. And yes, their phone records were checked, and they all asked for special provisions of $1 million to turn on their country and vote against their own self-interest for money. And we've been saying this entire time, everybody that works for Trump, all of these liars, gaslighters, and manipulators that get on camera and sell their soul, causing chaos, distraction, misinformation, disinformation, and anger, defending PDFs, are getting paid. We have been said that, and now they're getting exposed because everything that's done in the dark will come to light. And I'm going to expose them very, very soon. And even Ben Shapiro's getting paid off allegedly, because instead of talking about the PDF files, he's mad at Marjorie Taylor Greene for calling Trump out for not releasing them when all she said was the truth.
These days to get Americans to agree on anything, but an overwhelming majority of Americans definitely want the Epstein files released.
Apparently, Ben Shapiro thought this was a problem because he is a PDF protector. Let's see what he had to say about this.
So, yesterday, after the House of Representatives reopened, Representative Adelita Grajova of Arizona became the 218th and final signature on the discharge petition. She joined all the other Democrats, as well as 4 Republicans, including 2 who hate President Trump and would like to destroy his presidency. That would be Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene, as well as Lauren Boebert and Nancy Mace.
Ben Shapiro, so anybody who wants to prosecute a PDF now hates Trump and wants to destroy him? Why does he seem so bothered by this? To try and discredit people that are trying to get justice for children. This says a lot of things about you, Ben Shapiro. Things we've already known, but this just exposes more about you. And my question to people like this is the paycheck worth justifying a PDF and what he did? Maga just sat here and told us 15 isn't that bad. It's not that young. It's not even PDF material. It's not even worthy of being labeled a PDF. This is crazy. In the 2000s, when To Catch a Predator was being aired every single week, nobody cared about who was Democrat or Republican. Americans just agreed that being a PDF is horrible. It's unacceptable. Lock them up. So what happened? Money? How much more money do you need? Or is this just the real you? I guess when you sell your soul once, you really can't get it back. This guy is so mad Trump got caught. Imagine being stressed out that a PDF is going to prison. And they're not even done. Caroline Leavitt saw the Obama angle wasn't working. We're not buying it. We're not getting angry over it. We don't care. Release the Epstein files. So she tries to come for someone else, Chuck Schumer. If not for the Jeffrey Epstein story, CNN would be forced to talk about how Chuck Schumer and the Democrats got shellacked by President Trump. We're coming, Caroline. There's nothing you can say. There's nothing you can do. We are an unstoppable force. We are coming, and we will penetrate the cloud of lies and reveal the truth. Here is yet another PDF protector. He gets on camera and straight lies to Maga, saying Ghislaine Maxwell said Trump did nothing wrong. We saw the Epstein emails. She was bribed and got her security prison upgraded. And in Epstein's email to Ghislaine Maxwell, he said that Trump has spent hours with victims and multiple women, to include victims such as Katie Johnson. Said Trump was horrible and discussed the things that was happening around them and what he did to them. Matter of fact, Trump has over 20 sexual assault allegations against him, and some include rape allegations. But here's what Professor PDF had to say about that.
Ghislaine Maxwell said Trump did nothing wrong. So have Epstein's victims and Epstein's lawyer. And none of these emails implicate Trump. So we're back to square one.
They can't even get us mad at this point. It's not working. We're not buying it. You're done. We see you for what you are. Look how uneasy he looks. Matter of fact, he kind of looks like Epstein. Now I want you to bear in mind that months ago, FBI Director Kash Patel said they were redacting Trump's name from the Epstein files. Not only did they redact Trump's name, but they also redacted the high-profile people that were also in there. Because if they had actually completed doing that, don't you think they would have released the Epstein files a long time ago to not implicate Trump? And Jasmine Crockett in this clip hits the nail on the head with this, because my question is, for the files they did redact, if they were even able to do that, can that be undone? I would think yes, because they haven't released the Epstein files and they're still trying to cover it up. And Maga gets mad at Jasmine Crockett for calling out Trump for being in the Epstein files and says Trump should sue her. These people are justifying these actions. Let's take a look to see what Jasmine Crockett had to say.
That the Department of Justice didn't have this information, and if they didn't have this information, do we know whether or not they actually deleted this information? Do we know that there was a thorough investigation? Do we know whether or not the investigation had concluded? These are all questions that we need answers to, but we can't get them when you're not cooperating. So we don't know what the DOJ has, nor what it is that the DOJ potentially was trying to do. Considering that the president right now is trying to obstruct on some very basics of let's just get a subpoena that says release all the information, I wouldn't be surprised, just like he obstructed the prosecution of one of his henchmen who took $50,000 in taxpayer dollars from undercover officers. I wouldn't be surprised if he sent a message and said, stop investigating, we're done with this, Epstein's dead, I don't want to hear anything else about it.
Do you have any evidence of that claim?
I have no idea. No, that's the whole point. I have no information. And that's why we need these files to be released, because we are looking for transparency, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent. Listen, if people decide that they want to continue to support a person who may be a pedophile himself, or a person who obviously is covering for pedophiles, that's on them. But they should know at least the devil that they have decided.
She doesn't have proof, but I do. Let's give her an assist. The FBI reducted Trump's name in the Epstein files. The Bureau's team tasked with conducting a final review of the records blacked out the names before hiring higher-ups said last month that releasing the documents would not be appropriate or warranted. They were instructed to search for and review every single Epstein-related document and determine what could be released. Trump's name, along with other high-profile individuals, was blacked out because he was a private citizen when the federal investigation of Epstein was launched in 2006. After the FBI redacted the Epstein files, they were sent to Bondi. Tom Homan was investigated for accepting $50,000 from undercover FBI agents. Trump's DOJ shut it down. It was caught on video by the FBI agents investigating Tom Homan. And when they turned this over to the DOJ, Tom Homan, who was a Trump loyalist and was facing potentially many years in jail, had the entire case thrown out by Trump. When JD Vance was asked about it, here is him admitting on camera this happened and then justifying it the same way they're justifying the Epstein files.
Cash. Did he keep that money?
Accepting $50,000 for doing what, George? I'm not even sure I understand the question. Is it illegal to take a payment for doing services? The FBI has...
And there is the admittance right there. Thank you very much, JD Vance. The party of sell my soul for bribes justifies bribes. The same way they bribed these 8 traitors to America for $1 million apiece, and the same way they're justifying being a PDF and saying being a 15-year-old is nothing. I think United States law would have something to say about that. And lastly, these people are ready to ruin their entire careers over defending a PDF because Stephen A. Smith sits here and tries to distract against the release of the Epstein files. Let's take a look at this clip.
Ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind that the Epstein files were in existence and free to have been opened during the Biden administration. You were there for 4 years. How come you didn't open it as a Democratic Party then?
Not a single thought going in between those ears. I'm convinced these people's entire existence is just getting a reaction out of people. But I guess when the check's big enough, you sell your soul immediately. Furthermore, to inform the misinformed, no single person has ever promised to release the Epstein files but Trump. And then he blocked them after he found out every single thing he's done was in there as well. Furthermore, if Biden was in the Epstein files, we still wouldn't give a damn. We don't care who's in there. We want them released regardless because normal Americans don't subscribe to a cult. We don't defend PDFs. We protect our children. Can you say the same? I guess not. We are 1 week away for their vote to release the Epstein files. And I'm sure just like they bribed those 8 Democratic senators with $1 million each, they'll try to bribe more people this time. Regardless of all the lies and gaslighting we see from Trump and his constituents, nobody buys it. His polls are dying every day. Maga is leaving by the droves. We only hear the loud minority, and what remains of Maga is so weak that the distractions aren't working on anybody but them. Trump doomed himself with the bribe to open up the government while also quadrupling low-income Americans' healthcare premiums in an effort to never have to fund Obamacare again. He shot himself in his own foot, and now the odds are stacked against him as they always have been. There's no turning back from this. He's done. We've heard from the victims, we've seen the emails, we've seen the letters, and come midterms, if not before, he will be impeached. And with that being said, release the Epstein files, Donald Trump. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.